Hi friends, welcome back to today's video. I'm going to be sharing some recipes and things that I'm making for our family. We've got 4 children, we live in Florida, so fall doesn't necessarily feel like the typical fall for us. However, we do get a lot of rain and that sometimes makes it help feel a little bit more like fall here. And I do still like to eat things, you know, related to pumpkin and so forth. So I wanted to share a video that is mainly just documenting some meals, baking things. I hope you find it helpful and informative. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. I would love that. So for the first meal, I'm making bone-in pork chops, Brussels sprouts, and basically a fettuccine Alfredo type of dish. Something of that nature anyway. I kind of just usually wing it as I go. The Detweiler's Farm Market Instagram account had posted a pork chop recipe and I had made this one time before, I believe, and it was actually really good. This one might be like deviating a little bit from it, but it was really good. I am generally not a big pork chop person, but this has some dark meat on it essentially because of the bone-in part of it. And so it actually turned out pretty good, and these sear themselves so nicely. I also love a good Brussels sprout. My husband and I both love these. When we go to restaurants, steakhouses, and they have Brussels sprouts on the menu, we are often one to try them. These are like a maple bacon Brussels sprouts. I just sort of added things myself. I've made variations of this before, but it's really good. I'll try to put a recipe down below, but essentially I toss them in olive oil and some maple syrup, as well as some spices, maybe a little bit of like cayenne pepper or just like a red pepper flake or something, just to give it like a little bit of spice and heat, as well as a little dash of cinnamon. And these turned out really good. I usually just cut up the bacon and put them over the Brussels sprouts, and they come out pretty well. I really enjoyed the meal, and I think that my family did as well. So the next meal is one that I saw on Instagram or somewhere, I think, and it's nothing new by all means, but essentially it's spaghetti and meatballs. And I don't know about you, but normally if I cook spaghetti, which is not often, I will just cook it in water. Well, this recipe had you cook it in a tomato sauce and not really any water involved. And so I thought it looked really flavorful, and I was wanting to do something easy. We had some friends' kids over that evening anyway, and so I decided to go ahead and try this. I fried my meatballs in the pan, and it was just an easy little spin on spaghetti and meatballs. I want to take a minute to show you some of my things that I got in my latest wild grain box. I've got some sourdough bread. This one is like just a regular sourdough. I also have some croissants. I have 4 of these ham and cheese foldovers. This is a new thing for me. It is the spinach and ricotta ravioli. I have 6 of the giant chocolate chunk cookies. And they also sent me some cheesecake. So this is strawberry cheesecake. You might be wondering, what is Wild Grain? They are the sponsor of today's video, and I have been loving their products this whole year since I was first introduced to them. They are the first ever bake from frozen subscription box that specialize in sourdough breads, artisanal pastries, and fresh pastas. They feature small bakers across the United States, and they are able to put it into a subscription box for you. Wild Grain partners with small bakers and pasta makers across the United States to bring us these items. So I do bake some sourdough breads and things like that from time to time. But it has been a little bit since I had my sourdough starter out and have been using it. Seems like I haven't gotten back into the groove of it since being gone in Ohio this summer. So having some of these things on hand are just so helpful, and you can literally get it straight out of the freezer, put it in the oven, and have it on your table within 25 minutes. That is pretty fun. So you're able to build your own box, and with every box that is ordered, they also donate 2 meals to people in need. Something that I love from Wild Grain, and I don't have in this order, is their chocolate croissants. They're my favorite. They're so good and would always highly recommend those. So if you want to check out Wild Grain, go to my description box, click the link, and use the code Lynette for $30 off of your first box plus free croissants for life. And that means you get free croissants in every box, which is amazing. I love the fact that they're healthy, and unlike store-bought, Wild Grain uses a slow fermentation process with ingredients you can actually pronounce. I just got these out of the oven. I made the chocolate chip cookies, and they are very big, and I'm gonna let them cool, and then if the kids want them after school, they can eat them. And then also, here's the bread. I am going to slice that in a little bit. So I'm making soup for this evening. I'm also going to make some sourdough, like probably grilled cheese type of sandwiches. I think I'm gonna make a chicken taco soup. That's kind of my go-to, especially if I want to use the crock pot, because it's basically a dump and go situation, which is great. I feel like that's the purpose of a crock pot. And I don't make a ton of soups throughout the year, so I often will gravitate towards this one because it's something that Nick and I both like, and the kids are usually like kind of okay with soups. Just really depends. With this one, you can add sour cream, cheese, you have chips you can add in. So like lots of goodies to add in to kind of disguise some of the things that they're maybe not as fond about. But it's just a very easy thing, and I don't feel like you can mess it up. Like the recipe that I'll share, I'll put it in the description box, is not something that you have to just follow to a T. I don't feel like. I just grabbed one off of Pinterest, but I've made them without recipes and thought I would just share it with you and maybe give you some new ideas. I am going to start by adding the chicken tenders to the crock pot. You could use breasts or thighs, whatever you prefer. And these are partially thawed, but they can finish thawing in here. That's fine. I'm not usually a big white meat person, but that's kind of why I like the tenders. I feel like they're the more moist part, if you will. I'm using black beans, diced tomatoes with green chilies. I'm using some corn and pinto beans. And then also you're gonna need chicken broth, some taco seasoning, and then I think there's maybe a few other seasonings to add in. You could eliminate some of these items or add other items if you prefer. I know I definitely don't always do pinto beans. You could probably even put in like Great Northern beans or something like that. I am going to rinse the pinto beans and the black beans. I'm just going to add in some seasonings, most likely chili powder, probably garlic powder. I already have cumin in there. Maybe some onion salt. I also have smoked paprika in there. And then I'm just going to let it cook on low for maybe 6 hours. I am making some pumpkin cookies with maple frosting. I don't know that I can share the recipe because it's from a cookbook, but I can show you the cookbook I have. It is The Farmhouse Kitchen by Dawn Stoltzfus and Carol Falb, but these are broken up into seasons. This is the book that I used for the pumpkin spice syrup. They have a lot of other recipes in here as well. I will try to link it if I can. These will pair nicely with my latte. They're maybe not like my favorite, but the frosting definitely helps. I wish I would have the maple frosting or the maple flavoring, but I was out of it. I thought I had some, so I'm missing that. I put in some maple syrup to kind of help it a little bit, but they're still good, but maybe not like a 10 out of 10 or anything. I'm going to make some bowls for lunch, and it's just going to be a concoction of different things. I have one sweet potato left. I have some sausage, I have some chicken. I think I'm gonna fry up the sausage and the chicken because we can also just eat chicken if nothing else. I like to add like some sauces, maybe some feta. What do you think of my weird concoction here? Here we are. I put some Caesar dressing and some barbecue. I've got corn, bacon, sausage, sweet potato, tomato, chicken, feta. Really kind of a bunch of different things.
I want you to try a little barbecue. See if you like that.
Yeah, I wish I had like the noodles that Fresh Kitchen has. It's missing something. Not too bad. I'm going to make some pumpkin pie this morning. Per Nick's request, I told him, what kind of pie should I make? He said, well, pumpkin, obviously. So I have two ready to go two ready to go pie crusts here. Sometimes I make them myself, but I'm not the best at it. And I had grabbed these thinking I might need them sometime. So I'm gonna go ahead and use them. I feel like at least several times in the fall, you have to have pumpkin pie. So nothing new or fancy, obviously, but I'm going to make some. Ours is typically more of a custardy type pumpkin, if that makes sense. We have like egg whites in them, evaporated milk, pumpkin, brown sugar, spices, which might be the way you're used to it, but they're not as dense as a lot of pumpkin pies you would buy. So it's more of a light, airy type of filling. I really like them usually. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some of those. pies are out of the oven. They look pretty good. Hopefully they'll taste good. And I kind of like eating pies cold. I don't know, is that weird of me? I'll eat them warm, but there's something about like a cold pumpkin pie out of the fridge and eating it with some ice cream. So we're gonna have some with dinner tonight and enjoy some pumpkin pie. I really could eat some right now, and I may do that with a cup of coffee before the kids get home. So yeah. Okay friends, that is it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you go check out Wild Grain in the description box and use my discount code if you want to try them out. Let me know if you have any video requests for the fall. Can't promise anything, but I'm always looking for ideas, and I don't like to get in a rut with my filming. So if you have some content suggestions or things that I've already done in the past that you would like to see again, let me know on that. I would love to hear the feedback. So thank you all so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye friends.